So the AI bubble appears to be crashing today, and there's a lot of news we got to go over as it's all connected. So let's jump right in. These are the headlines. Stocks notch worst day in over a month as tech sell-off intensifies. And you look at the chart here, all your big names are going down: Amazon, Tesla, Google, Broadcom, Nvidia, Microsoft, Oracle. You can see it all right there. Dow Jones drops more than 800, right? Heads for worst day in over a month. And what could it be the trigger? Well, the government did just reopen. The Donald Trump shutdown went for 43 days. He just signed a thing that reopened everything. We're still picking up the pieces. And then I guess the first thing we do is start selling off in the markets. So this didn't make the markets feel better. Like literally, we're selling off right now. Wall Street stocks slide as tech jitters return. And as I keep telling you guys, this feels like a combination of the dot-com bubble and the great financial crisis rolled into one. If you don't know, I'm 50, so I actually lived through these things. There's a lot of young people out there who haven't seen this stuff before. And for those of you who are older, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, things don't go necessarily up forever, and it's looking pretty shaky out there. I'll read the description from the Financial Times. It says, but the index has wobbled over the past fortnight as a growing number of investors have drawn comparisons between the powerful rise in AI stocks, right? Basically a massive bubble, and the ill-fated tech boom at the turn of the millennium, right? So basically saying what we're seeing right now is just like .com. And again, if you remember seeing this stuff, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Here's a quote from Goldman Sachs. We see a growing risk that the imbalances that built up in the 1990s will become more visible as the AI investment boom extends. And get this, Michael Burry apparently is closing his hedge fund. This is the guy who's famous for The Big Short, right? He bet against the housing market in the 2008 crisis, ended up being right. Made a big bet recently against the AI bubble, and then now is also closing his hedge fund and I guess going dark in a way. Just as here, Michael Burry deregisters his hedge fund onto much better things, he says. Okay. And then now he's like giving back money to investors. This is a letter that is now all over social media, and I think this might be Michael Burry calling the top. So this is on October 27th, 2025. He says, "Dear investors, with a heavy heart, I will liquidate the funds and return capital." So he's giving people back their money, I guess. But for a small audit, tax holdback by year's end. Okay, so I'm doing it soon. My estimation of value in securities is not now and has not been for some time in sync with the markets. So basically saying things aren't connected anymore. The things are overpriced. And the way he thinks about the world is, not the way the world is seeing it, right? So basically markets are irrational. Then he also says here, with heartfelt thanks, but with also apologies, I wish you well in your future investments. Oh, okay. What a bizarre thing, right? And we'll read a little bit more. Concerns that market valuations have become unhinged. So things are overvalued. It's a big bubble. From fundamentals help prompt investor Michael Burry, known as his big bet against the housing market in 2008, to announce he would close his hedge fund, Sane Asset Management. And this is what he's then tweeting out. Me then, me thou, oh well, it worked out, it will work out. And this is, it's like any one of these things that by itself would be, shocking news, but this is all happening in the same day today, we're hearing. October jobs report to skip unemployment rate, Hassett says. So Kevin Hassett, one of Trump's dudes, he's saying maybe we'll get some numbers, but we're definitely not getting unemployment numbers. I wonder what's going on there. And someone was making a joke then when we actually do get numbers, it'll be like this where, they'll just tell you that you're getting lots of jobs and everyone's rich, right? That's basically what it boils down to. But I'll tell you the truth on this stuff, guys. It's ugly out there. And even if we don't get government numbers, like you still get word on the street of what's happening. So this is breaking today. Verizon to cut about 15,000 jobs. It's really a lot. I think this is the most in history for them. And when you get this kind of news, it just doesn't bode well, right? And if you guys have worked for Verizon, please let me know in the comments, or if you know anyone who've heard about this stuff. I'll tell you what it says. It sounds like a combination of cutting jobs and then restructuring. So first it says Verizon is planning to cut roughly 15,000 jobs, looking to reduce costs as it contends with increased competition, okay, for both wireless service and home internet customers. The cuts, the largest ever for the carrier, says right here, are set to take place in the next week. Wow. Next week. So there are some people who are probably at the company that are literally just hearing about it now and are probably feeling really uncertain about the future, which I completely understand. There's a lot of companies out there. Government workers are feeling that way for a while as well. That's why you see consumer confidence take a dive that it is, because you're just like, at your work, you go to work and maybe there's rumors, hey, I think they're going to do cuts. And then you get it, announced. This is the Wall Street Journal here. It's not good news for people. Let's be frank about it. The majority of the reduction is expected to be made through layoffs. Okay, so some restructuring, but they're saying layoffs. Verizon also plans to transition about 200 stores into franchise operations. That part's interesting, which will shift employees off its payroll, one of the people said. And then it says the company had about 100,000 employees as of February. So you're cutting 15,000 jobs out of 100,000 employees. So this is actually a pretty big cut. There's 15,000 alone, which is just a massive number. But then you have to think of percentage-wise, it's a pretty big cut. Then this also came out today. There was a Bank of America analysis, and they were saying basically 1 out of 4 people are really struggling in USA. Headline then, 24% of households living paycheck to paycheck. That's in USA. Another way you can put it is things are pretty crappy. Like literally, it's your headline. 1 in 4 U.S. households are living paycheck to paycheck. The way it described it, and we've talked about this many times on the channel, it's a K-shaped economy. Basically, people at the top, they're gaining, and then people at the bottom are losing out. It's long story short, that's basically what it boils down to. And you actually see it reflected in our daily news as well. Basically, Donald Trump and his people want us to be in Hunger Games kind of situation and to dance for them on TV.
So today we are announcing that we are going to be handing out bonus checks of $10,000 to TSOs, to agents who work for TSA who served with exemplary service.
Breaking, this is from Fox News. Secretary Kristi Noem rewards TSA agents who went above and beyond during the nation's longest government shutdown with a $10,000 bonus. And I'll just be frank with you guys. You can literally see it right there. They're basically giving people bonuses, and in particular, black people. You can see it for a photo op. I can see it. You can see it. You can't not see it. It's there. And, I get how the Trump administration is going to try to play this. Say, hey, see, look, guys, we're helping people. We're giving people bonuses, right? But it's all smoke and mirrors. We don't know how many of these TSA agents are getting bonuses or what the criteria is for getting them out. See, literally headline here. Some TSA agents to receive 10,000 bonus for working during the shutdown. Okay. And then you read the details. It remains unclear when the checks will be deposited to the TSA officers' accounts. Okay. So when you get the money, who knows? Or what the eligibility criteria are to receive the bonus. So how are you going to get it? Who knows? And this is a quote. This is not everybody here that works at this airport that will be getting checks. Oh, okay. We're going to continue to evaluate every single employee that helps during the shutdown and stepped up and went above and beyond. So my recommendation on this stuff, if you are going to participate, make sure you get cash. And I'm not joking. Because the Trump, they want to do a photo op also with the flight controllers, the air traffic controllers. That's something they mentioned. They're in damage control right now over at the White House because look at this. When in doubt, you have, if you're worried, you have your politician go out and, hang out with children and just say, hey, I'm a good president or whatever. And that's literally what they're writing on the White House, social media. The best president, heart. Look at, do you see it? And then he's got them giving coins to kids or whatever. That's seriously what they're doing. And then they got Melania out there marching around saying, hey, I care about foster kids and stuff like that. And now we have this new thing called fostering the future. Now, I want to go through these things because this shows you how their smoking games mirror played, right? Remember, the market's crashing. People are worrying about money. 1 out of 4 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. They're promising you these bonus things. Then they're saying, okay, now we're going to help children, right? That's their stuff. They did this before back in May, but I guess it was only 25 million. And they say investments. So whenever they said stuff, who knows what that means? It may not be anything. And also, too, 25 million, let's be frank with you guys, is not a lot of money in the world these days. It's just not. And you can fool people because they're essentially the Trump people can't do math. But this, I just challenge you. It's a really basic thing. Go write down on a piece of paper $1 billion, right? Just write it out and then write down, $1 million. And just so you can see the numbers. Then you can write out $1 trillion. Point being, though, this 20 million, it's not as much as you think it is. I'll be frank with that. I'm not saying $1 million isn't a lot of money, but in terms of government budgets and stuff, that kind of stuff, it's just not as big as you may think it is. And then today they are announcing the the foster care thing that they want to do. No, I'm not against helping children. I want to make that clear. I'm not against it. I'm just saying the stuff that they're announcing isn't exactly what you think it is. So for example, the thing today, basically they're pumping up churches and pumping up AI. I wish I was making this stuff up. This is literally what it is. I went to the website, so I was like, okay, what are you guys doing? And it just says, it strengthens partnerships with faith-based organizations and houses of worships, because of course it does. And then they say here, it promotes the modernization of state child welfare information systems and the use of AI-powered tools to improve caregiver recruitment, retention, and child matching. So I guess their thing that they're signing is they're going to have like I'm sure they'll make some sort of app or whatever, and it's going to be all AI based on where to put kids. Their whole goal here is to eliminate humans and then figure out ways to have AI replace us and then match us or whatever. That's their plan. And then I guess if you question them, then they just say, go read the Bible or something. And it really is that stupid. It like the stuff that he did mention the Bible in this thing. I watched it and it's like, it's as ridiculous as you think it would be. And then like you look at the American news and people were like, okay, so when am I going to get paid? This is literally our headlines. When will federal workers get their paychecks and back pay? Here's what to know. And so then, everyone on social media, which I completely understand, you're all searching, okay, when am I going to get my paycheck? This is how dysfunctional the USA is at the moment. Like it's a combination of bubble in the market and a combination of poor leadership. And then remember before Trump was threatening to pay people, like this is coming from Market Watch, which is pretty conservative media stuff. When you read market stuff, like, business news, it's not like crazy left-wing stuff. This is like market, stuff. What about the threats of no back pay? Because like when you talk about people's money, just be straight with people. And this is what we're talking about, like what is going on? And then when you look at what's driving our markets, so the AI bubble is popping. You get this from CNBC. It's not like just making stuff up. They're just telling you what it is. Tesla recalls 10,500 Powerwall 2 battery systems due to overheating fire risk, right? So of course, Elon always has this kind of stuff happening. You look at the weakening in various companies. So Disney, their stock went down 7%. Just basically, it's not hard to figure out. When people don't have a lot of money, maybe they're not going to go to Disneyland and spend a lot of money that they don't have, right? It's not that hard to figure out. But you have to put this stuff together because you watch all these things. You watch what people are reporting. You watch what companies are reporting. And then you look at stuff like this. Starbucks workers are now going on strike, which I completely understand. If you feel like you're not getting paid enough, that's what you do, right? This is where we're at. But the problem is that we're in a economy at the moment where companies are like looking to like cut people. So I just don't think any of this stuff's going to end well. And then when you look at the top of the economic spectrum, they keep asking for money. So you have, no, seriously, you have people at the bottom of the economic scale, like say, hey, when are we going to get paid? And you got people at the very top saying, hey, give us more money. So no, seriously, look, Musk XAI is raising $15 billion in the latest round of funding. This has come out November 13th. So Musk is like, hey guys, I'm the richest guy in the world. Please give me more money so I can make all this AI. And I promise we're all going to get rich. And then one of OpenAI's ex-execs, she's trying to make a new company or whatever. It says Murati's Thinking Machines. I guess that's what it's called, Thinking Machines. In funding talks at $50 billion value. Oh, I need money too. Like it sometimes really functionally not right in USA. You can literally see it every day in the news, and you have to put it all together because people will get fooled. Like the how you get fooled is you if you're a Fox viewer, you're like, oh well, Trump says he's like giving us all $10,000. Before it was $2,000 we're supposed to get from the tariffs, and before that it was at $5,000 from the Doge, and now we're getting $10,000 if we work for TSA or whatever. Wow, he really cares about us. But what about the people who are like losing all their jobs? What about your healthcare that's going up? What about like basically the economy absolutely crashing? What about we don't even know what unemployment's going to end up being? We may not get numbers on that. And then you got all these people asking for more AI money. And then you got this, I know guys, it's a lot to go over today, but I want to try to cover all of it because there's so much. It's like this alone, this right here alone would probably end most people's presidency. Look at this headline. This is out of Financial Times. This is a story which is related to the whole Argentina bailout thing. But basically money's moving around and we're figuring out how. U.S. drew $900 million from IMF account as Argentina debt payment loomed. You can kind of put the pieces together, right? Gee, Argentina owes a bunch of money somewhere, right? Needs to make a payment. Gee, money got pulled out of the U.S. account. And gee, money appeared in the Argentina account. No, seriously. I read this, and it's like it's sick. It's laughable. I mean, how I can't cry every day, as I always say, because it's like but if that's why I mentioned before, when you talk about, okay, back in May, they announced 25, million for kids, and they'll make this big public announcement, stuff like that. And then like the really big money, you won't hear it on most news probably. Do you guys see what I'm saying? That's why I mentioned to say, just put it on a piece of paper, write down the numbers, and understand like how these games are played. So for example, this is literally what it says. The U.S. drew nearly 900 million of its IMF reserves as Argentina received an equivalent amount ahead of a critical debt payment. So Argentina owed a bunch of money on their debt, and some mysterious way our bank account went down in USA, right? Literally, that's what it's saying here. Washington's special drawing rights, so they're going to call this SDR, special drawing rights, at the IMF, funds that can be used to pay debt or exchange for dollars, euros, and other currencies, declined by 870 million last month, according to the calculations by the Financial Times. Argentina's SDR account rose by the same amount over that period, which just came just before was due to pay the 840 on November 1st. So even with these numbers, there's like missing millions here and there. Gee, I wonder where it could have went. And you guys can guess. So we withdrew 900, and then they're mentioned 870, and then they're saying Argentina had to pay 840. And I know most people will skip over this stuff and say, Chris, you're so dumb. Trump, and Melania want to help children. They're going to have more churches and more AI to help kids. And they're going to give 25 million back in May or whatever, investments, which is not necessarily giving. It's someone's going to promise to give, but Trump says he cares about me. Oh, okay. And then you got this. This is literally what the U.S. is doing today. We're at 20 strikes, right? I guess we killed 4 more people in the Caribbean. U.S. conducts 20th strike on alleged drug boat, killing 4 people. And then Hegseth, this is what they're tweeting out today. It was like literally screwing in the sign for the Department of War. And if they end up, just for example, if they end up changing Department of War from defense to war, then they got to do all the signs, all the bases, all the napkins, all the towels or whatever. Like they got to spend a whole bunch of money on all that stuff. And I'm sure whatever government, contracts to redo all these things, I'm sure someone's making money somewhere. It's like a total waste of money at a time when people are really struggling. So I know it's hard to go through all the stuff every day. It's hard for me also because there's just so much corruption and graft.
If you had high school or less as your education, 59% voted for Donald Trump. Some college, he held on to the lead with 53%. But then it seems that the more educated you are, the more elite you become, the more you go over to the Democratic column. But,
long story short, we're in a massive bubble led by a bunch of fools, be it Musk and Trump, and it's obvious. And it's sad, though, because, let's be frank with you guys, they've been attacking education so long in the USA, there's a lot of people that just can't see it. It's really sad to see. And for all the people outside the USA, it's so obvious. This is a total collapse. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.